What's up, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be covering something I get asked often, and that is basically when I hypnotize someone, am I making them go unconscious? Am I like doing some crazy magic? And so we're going to be talking about that today. First of all, I want to welcome you to another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. And today I'm going to be talking about rapid hypnosis. Like, how do I like literally get someone to go down quickly, and how does it feel to people? Like, am I making them unconscious or anything like that? So, as you might have seen in that video that I played right at the beginning, um, you know. The analogy that I like to give is, imagine a mind has so many different ways it can go. It's like a big open field. When you do something like rapid hypnosis, what instead of going down all these different paths, you just focus the mind to go down one specific path. Okay, one specific focus. And so it takes the mind from an open field to one specific path. So when we're talking about like rapid hypnosis and these techniques where I get people to go boom very quickly, and it looks like they're going unconscious, in actual fact, I'm creating a state of focus very quickly. All right, I'm getting the mind to focus on one thing very fast. It doesn't mean that a person goes unconscious or anything like that. And I'll give you a few examples so that you know what I mean. So, for example, first of all, have you ever had times in your life where you're like, oh, I gotta think about this, I gotta think, and you close your eyes and you think, when you think deep, it doesn't mean that you're unconscious. It just means like you want to really think deep. So you kind of like close your eyes to kind of, and then you're deeply thinking. That doesn't mean you're unconscious because your eyes are closed, right? And so I'm giving you just little parables that kind of happen in everyday life. Now, another one is, if you go to the side of your bed and you kind of like jump backwards and fall onto your bed while you close your eyes. That looks very dramatic. It doesn't mean that you've gone unconscious just because you've fallen back on your bed and you've closed your eyes. It doesn't mean you've gone unconscious. It's just a very, very quick, rapid state of relaxation. You just like, woof, and you just experience a wave of relaxation. And so that's another form of this kind of rapid hypnosis, or another way that we experience it in everyday life. Or perhaps you've ever heard a loud noise, like boom, and then someone like, get down. And before you even think about it, you just listen to that command. That's another way of kind of experiencing these different phenomena. Or sometimes maybe you've touched a very hot plate and you don't think, oh my God, it's hot, I should remove my hand. Your unconscious moves your hand before you actually consciously think about it. Same as if a ball is coming very fast from the side and you close your eyes even before you register that you have that there's a ball coming. So these are all different ways that this happens naturally. Now, when I first started learning hypnosis, I'd watch videos on YouTube and see these like dramatic things, and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, that's magic. I mean, how does someone have the power to do all those things, etc.? He's made them go unconscious. So I know all the misconceptions because I've been there. I've had all of them myself. But when I went to my first course, I went to the UK. There was a training done by a guy called Rory Fuller. He one of the first people that I learned hypnosis from, and he taught me like rapid inductions. And I went there and I'd go and he'd do a couple of things, and and boom, I'd close my eyes, and I was like, I'm in my mind, I'm sort of thinking, but I'm still thinking, but I'm still awake, but I'm still all these things. And then I kind of came up and I said, but I wasn't unconscious. And he said, just because we've done rapid hypnosis where you focused, right? And I, like, my mind was racing before, and it was just clear and immediate focus. And he said, that's what rapid hypnosis does, or rapid inductions do. They get you to focus very quickly versus your mind racing and being all over the place. And he said, like, hypnosis is not being unconscious. Robin saying, look into my eyes, not around my eyes, look into my eyes. Boom, you're under. Yes, exactly. Actually, Robin, I swear that, like, you know what, it works. I'm gonna lie. You'll see a couple of examples in a minute. So to a certain degree, you know, like when someone goes into hypnosis or experiences trance, it's not unconscious. You're not unconscious. It's a hyper awareness, or it's an altered focus, an altered state. But you're very much awake, or very much just in a different state. Robin's loving it. Thanks, buddy. So I'm going to give you a quick rapid induction framework, or just talk to you about some of the elements that I use when I do some of this rapid induction. So first of all, overload. So our mind, how does an overload work? Basically, our mind can just handle like 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. So when you give the mind like a whole bunch of information to process, at some point, you know, your conscious mind just sort of says, okay, you know what, you take over. So let me show you what I mean. Like, let me play this real quick. So in that video, basically what I'm doing is, like, I'm like getting their eyes to focus on on my fingers. I'm moving their arm. They're like, what's going on with my arm? What's going on with my eyes? I tell them to focus on some of their breathing and listen to the sound of my voice. And all of a sudden, like, it's just a bit of an overload. And so the unconscious just sort of says, okay, your unconscious just your conscious mind just at some point just says, okay, unconscious mind, listen, you are more powerful, maybe you step in, please. Right? So that's the first part, which is the overload. So then after the overload is another thing that you want to do is add a bit of shock. Now what happens in a shock? So if okay, so Etienne's asking, this is great, can it be done remotely? Yes, like hypnosis 100% can be done remotely, because it's just an altered state. I mean, you're in a trance every single day. When you're watching this video, chances are you're in somewhat of a trance, right? It's a focused state of attention. A rapid induction where you pull someone's hand, perhaps not, but the confusion elements, yes, right? There's varying degrees of doing this. So, but yes, 100%. In fact, I've been doing a lot of clients very recently via Zoom, doing hypnosis. But yes, I don't obviously do the physical stuff with and you'll see what I mean in a moment when I show you the shock, a shock induction. So how does a shock work? A shock literally, it's like when you have a metal plate, you know, your mind is all over the place. You touch a hot, like, cooking plate, boom, your mind sort of wakes up, and it just says, whoa. Or if you've ever like jumped in a shower, like had a cold shower, or jumped in a cold plunge pool, that is a shock. Like, all of a sudden your mind just wakes up. If you hear a loud bang, you know, your mind could be all over the place. You hear a loud bang, boom, wakes up your mind. And these are all natural phenomenon. In fact, if you look at, for example, the FBI or the CIA, they break into somewhere, they can have the most hardened criminals that would fight to the death. But if they throw in like something like a stun gun, which has a loud bang, it shocks people enough that their unconscious mind takes over, and for a moment they say, get down. And they aren't consciously thinking, they hear a loud bang and they listen to the first instruction. And so that's another concept. So let me just show you very quickly what I mean by that. So over here, you'll see when I'm doing this with someone, I will shock them and give them a clear direction straight afterwards. So check this out. There. So, and again, it looks dramatic, but it's again, what I've done is I've shocked and given a clear direction. So again, that's and these are all natural phenomena. This is not like crazy magic or anything. However, it looks dramatic, but just because it looks dramatic doesn't mean it is. So shock. So that's the next part. And then there's the confusion aspect. Like when a person is confused, they're focusing on so many different things. It's a little bit like the overload, but there's different. See, overload is giving the brain more things than it can handle, and confusion is just, for example, is not more things that they can handle, but they aren't too sure what's going on, and so again, your unconscious mind takes over. So I'll show you another quick example of that. Okay, yeah. And you can see, so basically, like if there's just so much going on, the mind just gets a little bit confused and unconscious mind takes over. So very, very, very powerful stuff in terms of how our minds work and understanding that, because all of these things are natural phenomena. But at the same time, when you're doing hypnosis, you're just compressing natural phenomena in a short space of time to get a bigger result. But we do these things naturally. Like when we get confused, like we just kind of switch off at some point, like I can't take it. And so we've all experienced that when we get confused. This is just a way of utilizing that for a greater effect. The next thing is after that is what we call something called a pattern interrupt. Robin, it's hard to describe confusion. Yeah, do you get confused when I explain confusion? Yeah. So next thing is something called a pattern interrupt, and a pattern interrupt is our minds kind of go through a specific way of doing things. They're used to certain things, and when you interrupt that, it creates a bit of an opening. Just like if you're walking into the house and, for example, your kids jump up and like scare you, it creates a moment of like a frozen moment, which is like, by the way, that's experiencing an opening for trance. So that's a rapid induction right there. But it's interrupted your train of thought because you're just naturally walking into the house as you would always do. Or if you've ever experienced where someone, you go to shake someone's hand and they go like this, and you're like, for a moment, that's a pattern interrupt. Your mind kind of like is just it's confused. It tries to process information, and there's an opening right there. So once you do any of those things, once you've had a pattern interrupt or you create a shock or one of those things, the next element that you'd want to do is give clear direction. So sleep. Well, and by the way, when a hypnotist says sleep, you don't sleep. It's just the direction to close your eyes and relax, right? You could just say close your eyes or something like that, or listen or something, or look. These are all clear directions. Just like if the FBI throws a stun gun and they run into the place, it's get down. that is exactly, that is a hypnotic command to a certain degree. It's very much a hypnotic command, because you've created a shock, and then straight after the shock you give a clear direction, and the mind will respond, because you have this fight or flight syndrome. So it's sort of like, whoa, okay, like pay attention, do the first thing that happens. So when you get clear direct, Robin's got the best. Is that cops and robbers? Is that is that what's going on, Robin? Thank you for those little emojis. I think that's made this whole session very amazing, and I I want to say I appreciate it. All right, so that's hopefully that's kind of explained it. I know a number of times people kind of ask me, because it does seem very, I mean, and it can look so dramatic, and amazingly like mythical, etc. But these are all natural things that we do to a certain degree, and it's just utilizing the way that your mind naturally works to get some amazing responses. So that's that. And a phrase of the day: when you use rapid hypnosis, you create a state of altered focus. So I want to thank you guys very much. Also, I want to thank Robin for the detective and cop that he has provided in this session. And hopefully you guys enjoyed today, and maybe it's enlightened you a little bit as to how these crazy inductions actually work to a certain degree. Obviously, there's more advanced stuff to it, but just at a top level, it hopefully understands. It hopefully breaks it down. And Chris, hey, let's fly to the moon. Yes, exactly. I got all my hypnotist friends. They're like jumping in, like adding to a whole bunch. So thank you as well. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and hopefully you found this very useful. And I will see you on another video very, very soon. Peace out, one love, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Bye for now.